Hi guys, this week with the SEC approval of Bitcoin ETF, Bitcoin spot ETF to be precise, I wanted to come back about the risk on the initial premise of Bitcoin. Because Bitcoin was created as a response to the 2008 crisis as a tool for financial freedom and sovereignty to prevent the fiscal responsibility from central banks and commercial banks. The idea was to build a global, decentralized, peer-to-peer, anti-inflationary, with limited supply monetary system to remove the middleman or the trusted third party in monetary transaction that just proved they could not be trusted. Now, what happens with the ETF? With the launch of the Bitcoin ETF, issued by the largest financial institutions in the world, can we fear an attack to regain control or kill the idea of Bitcoin in its infancy? We know what happened to the leaders in the world who threatened the status of the US dollar. Can we expect from the ones whom Bitcoin was created to protect us from to be different this time with the involvement in the crypto space? The risk is the initial proposition of Bitcoin to be perverted by the legacy sector in order to keep doing business as usual. With the ETF approval, people are focusing on the price, which I believe is selling values for greed. This greed may not even be satisfied, even if Bitcoin, as many predict, is going to the moon, because at the same time, this means that the USD is collapsing. This may only mean preserving the current lifestyle when everyone around is poor, and many will become billionaires just like in Zimbabwe, billionaires in worthless fiat currency, but still owning the same amount of Bitcoin. If the legacy banking system gets into Bitcoin, it is certainly not to become more virtuous, but to pervert the idea and continue the same misuse of money and preserve the current status quo on money with the US dollar. The ETFs specifically are a risk because if they are massively successful, ETFs simply holding Bitcoin will reduce the number of transactions that compensate miners for securing the network. Interestingly, over the last year, we've seen entities mining at a loss, sending other miners out of business and causing a large discrepancy between the BTC price and the hash rate. With an ETF, everything about what Bitcoin is about is lost. Decentralization is lost. You do not actually own any Bitcoin because the legacy banking system actually does. And you cannot use them or spend them. And it's very easy for the government to seize them. The Department of Justice is already one of the biggest Bitcoin holder with a little less than 200,000 seized Bitcoins. Will it generate price stability? Yes, probably with the increased liquidity coming into the space, but this will also facilitate trading and speculation with a very accessible equity-like investment vehicle. The stability doesn't come from the legal wrapper that is the ETF, nor it comes magically from the SEC ETF approval. It comes from a wider adoption that I would have preferred to grow organically to preserve the initial objective for Bitcoin, provide financial sovereignty, and eliminate the abuses of fiat currencies by central banks and governments. Bitcoin is public, and control on Bitcoin means control on transactions and the end of financial privacy, like I mentioned in a video 2 weeks ago. I hear the argument that Bitcoin holders do not control the networks. That is true. But miners and developers are just humans. And when you have BlackRock's buying power, anything is possible, from speculative attacks to sending miners out of business. Even if you cannot control Bitcoin, the environment around Bitcoin can be controlled. The regulatory environment on internet privacy can seriously be tightened, for your safety, of course. Another scary idea. What if Bitcoin becomes the de facto US CBDC? What about a stable coin built on Bitcoin, fully programmable and then fully controllable and censorable? Because remember, not your keys, not your coins. A minimal integration of Bitcoin with the legacy system is necessary. There needs to be bridges between the two environments, but there is a balance to find not to ruin the initial value proposition of Bitcoin. And this will be a fine line to walk. Thank you for listening and see you next week. Bye.